Toyota just forced a ruthless rebrand on Haas, and the FIA cannot do a single thing about it. They did not buy the team. They did not register as a 2026 engine supplier. Instead, Toyota Gazoo Racing exploited a massive regulatory loophole to hijack the grid's most vulnerable operation. They stripped MoneyGram of the primary sponsorship, officially renamed the squad the TGR Haas F1 team, and secured a completely unregulated, free testing ground for their global engineers. All of this happens while Gene Haas keeps absolute ownership. This matters right now because the entire 2026 financial rulebook was specifically engineered to prevent massive automotive empires from buying an unfair advantage. Toyota just proved those regulations are structurally broken before the new cars even hit the track. If you want to understand the actual corporate warfare dictating the grid, hit subscribe. Then, tell me in the comments, do you think the FIA intentionally left this testing loophole open, or did Toyota simply outsmart them? Now, let us break down the exact contract clause Ayao Komatsu weaponized to execute this shadow merger. To understand the sheer magnitude of the Toyota takeover, you must first understand the brutal logistical baseline of Gene Haas's operation. Haas operates out of 3 entirely separate locations. Corporate administrative duties sit in Kannapolis, North Carolina. Aerodynamics and chassis design operate out of a restricted hub in Maranello, Italy. Race operations run out of a small industrial base in Banbury, United Kingdom. It is a fractured logistical system. Haas employs roughly 400 people. Top-tier organizations like Mercedes and Ferrari employ well over 1,000 personnel each. Team principal Ayao Komatsu stated on the record that Haas has been fighting with both hands tied behind their back. They have a massive resource problem. His mechanics and engineers dragged the team from absolute last place in 2023 to a vicious fight for 6th place. But operational efficiency has a mathematical ceiling. Komatsu admitted Haas does not even reach the mandated FIA budget cap. They operate below the legal limit because they lack corporate revenue. Operating below the cost cap guarantees you will be outdeveloped over a 24-race season. Owner Gene Haas refused to sell the team. The grid's franchise valuation exploded, but he aggressively rejected every buyout offer. He demanded a strategic solution that kept him in absolute power while bringing in global funding. Look at the mechanics of the new $215 million budget cap. Do you think raising the legal spending limit actually protects the small independent teams, or does it just give manufacturing giants like Toyota more room to hide their research and development costs? Drop your theory in the comments right now. The FIA originally implemented the cost cap to level the financial playing field. For the 2026 season, the FIA announced a massive financial big bang. The new operational budget cap is locked at $215 million. Federico Lodi is the financial regulations chief for the FIA. He claims this figure is not a spending increase. He calls it an inflation adjustment. The FIA is pulling previously exempt logistical costs inside the regulatory perimeter. That raw number terrifies small independent teams. $215 million is the new baseline just to turn the lights on. That money covers car design, aerodynamic development, and race operations. In addition to the chassis cap, the FIA instituted a strict power unit cost cap. Engine manufacturers get an isolated $130 million annually starting in 2026. Factory audits are relentless. The FIA explicitly designed this framework to prevent an uncontrollable financial arms race. But institutional money always hunts for edges. The richest teams build massive physical infrastructure using parent companies. Haas faced a terminal financial gridlock. They could not hit the cap organically. They could not build new facilities without triggering capital expenditure limits. They needed a manufacturer to survive. In October 2024, the first domino fell. Toyota Gazoo Racing and Haas announced a multi-year technical partnership. The specific wording was a masterpiece of corporate misdirection. It sounded like a standard sponsor agreement. It was actually a shadow operational merger. Toyota agreed to provide advanced design, technical, and manufacturing services to Haas. Toyota engineers actively integrated into Haas's aerodynamic development. Toyota started manufacturing highly complex carbon fiber parts. Here is the defining distinction. Toyota did not register as a Formula One engine supplier. Haas extended their power unit contract with Ferrari through 2028. Toyota knows the extreme danger of building engines. They ran a multi-billion-dollar works team from 2002 to 2009 and never won a single race. Toyota learned that building an engine program from scratch is a financial black hole. By partnering directly with Haas, Toyota bypassed the $130 million power unit cap entirely. They bypassed the massive FIA entry fees. They bypassed the brutal capital expenditure required to build a European factory. They get immediate, unfiltered access to current Formula One telemetry data without the catastrophic financial risk. This brings us directly to the most ruthless aspect of the deal: the testing of previous cars' loophole. Under strict FIA regulations, track time is heavily policed to stop rich teams from running endless laps. But teams are legally allowed to run older heritage cars. Haas activated a massively funded testing program using their older VF23 chassis. Throughout 2025, they ran 14 full days of testing. Who was driving the car? Not the primary Haas drivers. Toyota installed their own factory racing roster. Japanese racers logged significant hours. This is unregulated, high-level data acquisition. Haas used this track program to evaluate vehicle dynamics. Toyota used it to train young factory engineers on complex hybrid systems. Here is exactly where the budget cap breaks down. Ayao Komatsu openly admitted the exact mechanism. Personnel dealing directly with heritage cars operate entirely outside the FIA budget cap. Their salaries do not count toward the $215 million limit. If heritage engineers cross over to the primary race team beyond a specific percentage, their cost must be included. Komatsu tracks this on a strict timesheet. As long as Toyota's engineers stay under that threshold, Toyota actively trains a Formula One workforce off the books. Haas gets the testing data for free. Toyota pays the salaries. The cap remains untouched. It is entirely legal financial evasion. Komatsu is legally using a heritage testing program to train Toyota personnel completely off the books. Is this a brilliant survival strategy, or does it completely destroy the integrity of the FIA budget cap? Evaluate his decision and let me know your ruling below. The technical transfer moved directly into Haas's physical infrastructure. The Banbury facility severely lacked top-tier simulation hardware. Building a world-class Formula One simulator triggers massive capital expenditure audits. The FIA strictly monitors facility upgrades to stop rich teams from outbuilding poor ones. You have a hard limit on what you can spend on buildings and computers. Toyota instantly solved the problem. The technical partnership included the rapid development and installation of a state-of-the-art simulator directly inside the Banbury base. This critical hardware comes fully online for the 2026 season. Toyota engineers designed it, Toyota manufactured it, Haas uses it. If Toyota owns the hardware and Haas operates it, how does the FIA accurately value the capex hit? The alliance allows Haas to radically upgrade physical infrastructure without absorbing the full financial impact. Toyota is quietly and systematically rebuilding Haas from the inside out. By December 2025, the shadow merger went fully public. Haas officially announced the termination of the MoneyGram title sponsorship. Effective for 2026, the team is officially named TGR Haas F1 Team. The financial landscape of the entire grid shifted immediately. Toyota Gazoo Racing bought the highest tier of global visibility. They erased the previous corporate identity. Akio Toyoda, chairman of Toyota Motor Corporation, delivered a public statement that exposed the true depth of the project. He stated, "Toyota has finally begun to move, really move." He directly thanked Gene Haas and Ayao Komatsu for standing alongside their young members. This was not the standard public relations statement of a sponsor. This was the aggressive statement of a global manufacturer claiming territory. Toyota confirmed the expansion of their corporate mantra: people, product, pipeline. The heritage testing program was completely rebranded for 2026. It is now officially the TGR Haas Driver Development Program. Toyota is openly dictating the personnel pipeline for an American Formula One team. Think deeply about the Banbury simulator deal. If Toyota Gazoo Racing provides the physical hardware under a technical alliance, but Haas uses it for live race operations, who really owns the intellectual property generated? Comment your take on how the FIA audits this setup. Despite the overwhelming presence of Toyota branding, actual ownership remains completely locked. Gene Haas is 71 years old. He currently owns the smallest operation on the grid. Rumors of a massive corporate sale circulate constantly. The arrival of Toyota amplified those rumors exponentially. Industry insiders automatically assumed this was a toe in the water for a full corporate buyout by the Japanese giant. Ayao Komatsu shut that narrative down instantly. He confirmed Gene Haas is not selling the team. Haas received multiple massive buyout offers during the sport's recent valuation boom. He refused every single one of them. Komatsu explicitly stated that a first refusal clause for Toyota was never even discussed during negotiations. Gene Haas wants the championship prize money. Going from last place in 2023 to fighting for sixth place represents tens of millions of dollars in increased constructor payouts. Haas heavily uses the Formula One team to market his global CNC machining business. Giving up ownership makes zero financial sense. He let Toyota paint the car. He let Toyota name the team. He let Toyota train the staff. But Gene Haas still owns the multi-million-dollar charter. Look closely at the data. Everyone assumes Toyota is preparing to buy Haas outright. But why buy the team and take on the massive liabilities when you can lease the naming rights and get all the engineering data for a fraction of the cost? Tell me right now, will Gene Haas ever sell? The 2026 season represents a total reset of the Formula One landscape. Audi has taken over the Sauber operation entirely. Cadillac has forced their way into the sport as a completely new entity. Both mega corporations have virtually unlimited off-cap resources preparing their entry. If Haas had remained a purely independent team, they would have been annihilated by the sheer scale of the new competition. The $215 million budget cap is just a theoretical limit. The reality of performance is determined by physical infrastructure. Haas had Ferrari engines, but their aerodynamic development ceiling was fixed by their strict budget. The TGR rebrand changes the mathematical equation entirely. The car will carry heavy Toyota branding. It will run on Ferrari hybrid power. It will utilize Japanese engineering data. Komatsu successfully navigated the most dangerous transition period in modern F1 history. He sold a technical partnership that completely bypasses the FIA's harshest restrictions on testing. He secured a title sponsor that guarantees the team operates at the maximum limit of the financial cap. The FIA designed the financial regulations to stop exactly this kind of corporate maneuvering. They wanted clear lines between works teams and customer teams. Toyota and Haas systematically blurred every single line. Toyota is not a works team, but they have a massive driver development pipeline active in Formula One. Haas is a customer team, but they have global factory-level research backing. The FIA cannot penalize Haas for running a completely legal heritage program. They cannot stop Toyota from paying corporate engineers to analyze telemetry. The loophole is structurally sound. Manufacturer influence in Formula One is no longer strictly limited to engine supply. It is now entirely about intellectual property sharing, personnel offloading, and budget cap evasion. The era of the true independent constructor is over. Financial loopholes dictate the standings now. Toyota executed a flawless re-entry into Formula One without risking a single point of their corporate reputation. To uncover the massive corporate timeline that proves this partnership is building toward a total takeover, stay tuned for the next video on F1 Undercut, the brilliant endgame Toyota just revealed at Haas. Gene Haas won't own team by 2028.